Good evening, everyone. It seems I'm live, but I'm on my own. There's no one yet in the chat. I came early because it's the English thing to do to arrive early at any appointed meeting. So, 3 minutes early. Let's see if we have anyone arriving. We will see. Okay, I have a schedule, a little schedule. Well, I've been looking at what some of you have been doing over these past couple of weeks. Been checking your videos, checking your movements, where you have been, who you have seen. I'm keeping an eye on you all in preparation for the Sunday walk. Last Sunday of the month, the walk from Firle, from the Ram Park car park. Unfortunately, they couldn't accommodate us for the lunch. Their loss, I have to say. Uh, they do good food, but a little bit pretentious. But we have, or Kevin, Cynthia, and Steve, they have managed to find another restaurant, Ringmere, I think it's about 15 minutes drive from Firle. So for the event, we'll do the walk to Charleston and back in a loop, and then get in the cars to go to Ringmere for a fabulous lunch. Jeff is here. You're the first one, my man. Lovely to see you. How are you doing, Jeff? And where are you at the moment? Are you driving around? Do you? Of course, you have internet in the in the truck. If you're from Pennsylvania, it's unbelievably hot. Well, Jeff, likewise here. We're up at 35 degrees, and I think this week, if I can, oh, if I can find my phone, I will show you. Ah, okay, just the tune. I got a friend who's asking how to tune into the live. Alison, how lovely to see you. I was so sorry to hear about your hamsters. Um, Kerry, lovely Kerry. Oh, it's lovely to see you here. Now, I was going to show Jeff the temperatures. Here we are. Oh, well, this is actually the village, but let's go to the city of Zagreb, where I am. Look at that, 36, 35. It's pretty tough here in the day. Poor Zorro is suffering, but we're going to the village tomorrow and have a special swimming pool for him, uh, which I put up a few pictures now and then of the lovely boy cooling off in the round pool which I have for him. Kerry, lovely to see you, and Alison, Lynn B. Oh, your cousin's here from Scotland. Arrived to so can't stop. Sorry. Well, Lynn B, don't worry. We're going to be talking about you in the chat, so you'll want to catch up later at least. Mark Burgess, good man. Good to see you there. And Gabe, cheers. Lovely to see you, Gabe. I looked at a couple of your shorts just before I went online to get a bit of topical conversation about what you're up to. And I did note, actually, I made a note of it, and I was impressed about the mural paintings in Glastonbury. I've seen a couple of your videos, which you posted, a few weeks ago of this chap who is painting a wall and then a strip by a bus stop. The villages and towns need more artists to do creative, constructive painting, not the tags, graffiti tags. You know, I don't like those where people are just writing their name for the sake of their ego. But if there's some creativity behind um, what these graffiti artists do, then I'm okay with that. in Zagreb, we have a long wall which stretches all the way to the train station. And a couple of years ago, they had a competition where they invited graffiti artists to come, and they were each given a section of the wall to decorate, and they did a beautiful job of it. It was lively, it was funny, it was poignant. It was really, really good. But it's kind of they're aging now and the weathered a bit, so they're not so beautiful as they once were. But I endorse that initiative. Um, yes, Gabe, you are blessed with some beautiful wall art, and Ian, I'm lucky enough to be the uh, you are the official videographer for the town of Glastonbury. You are Glastonbury, Gabe. I have to say, you filmed the mayor, the new mayor, and the inauguration of the mayor, and some lovely scenes where you went up to the tour, and there was a beacon which was lit for peace or whatever intentions, beautiful intentions. You are the man you are the chronicler of Glastonbury, and every town, every city, every village needs such a person because, as I'm often saying, today I went to a gallery to show some of my work to try and get an exhibition in this beautiful, beautiful space, and they're going to give me a show next year. But what I was showing them is it was a project connected with the village because all my art is connected to the village. My videos, my paintings, my sculpture, it's all about the village culture, the village heritage, and uh, the chap who I spoke with, who was the director of this beautiful, beautiful space, he kind of really tuned into that notion because we all came from the land, from the villages, from small communities, and it's a tragedy that we lose that contact. It's a real shame that we lose that contact with the countryside, with the landscape. Okay, all of us on this channel with our walking group with Kevin, um, we all appreciate what the countryside has to offer for us. It's a joy, it really is a joy. And where I am over here in Croatia, much of the land around me is now neglected because people have died, the elderly have died. And this project, which I took to this gallery, which they were very happy to see, I've made a video as well where I've used the voice of people that I've recorded over the years talking about their connection with the land and the cattle and ploughing and growing food. Every voice in this video has died. I mean, that's the tragedy of it. So, the next generation needs to find some way to get back to the land, as I keep reporting. But let me just break off and catch up with a few comments. Yeah, okay, couldn't do. Yeah, Gabe is showing his appreciation for Jeff Kellison. What a good man. These two together, they've created a wonderful YouTube YouTube site, and I love to watch Gabe's videos because I really appreciate someone who looks vertically at a location. We lots of people travel everywhere. They give you a superficial view of a place. I'm not interested. I want to go deep down into one place and explore that. When we did the Kevin's Rambles walk in, I think it was in January. It was very wet. We went to Arundel, and we got Bonnie had organized a local historian to give us a chat about Arundel. And for half that chat, he was talking about one building and the history of that one building. He went really deep down into the history and the multitude of layers of that building. And that's what I really appreciate. I'm personally, I'm not interested in travel anymore. I don't want a superficial view of a place. You can see enough of that on television. I don't care about that. Not interested whatsoever, but I like to go deep into one location, which, as most of you know, in my village, I've been doing that for the past 18 or so years, digging deep. But oh, the Wandering Ponderer, hi there. I've made a few notes of videos that I've been catching up on, and I mentioned you, and I was particularly going back to my reference about going vertically into one place. The Wandering Ponderer really explores Kogushul, which I presume is where he is, and a video that he put up recently of the life of a lady called Dorothy Butterfield, an artist. I like artists. The world needs more artists. But he talked about her life, her history, and he showed examples of her work and in relation to the landscape around and where she lived. And I'm always impressed with that. Yes, Jeff, Pondera. Okay, who else do we have? So Carrie said, Alison, so you're planning to write a family history book one day. History is fantastic. Carrie, I might need to employ your services looking into my family history. I certainly need some help with that. And Alison, oh, you went, okay. I know you have guinea pigs, but you lost on which you did mention, I think on Bernish, on Bernish show before. And the loss of any animal is really hard. People think uh, it's just an animal, but no, these are members of the family. Uh, I've just got a message from Andrew Murphy. Hi Andrew, are you live tonight? Can you please send me the link? Okay. Yes, I'm live. Yes, I am live. Let's say try Andrew Norris. Got to spell my name right. Norris 1. So hopefully Andrew Murphy will be joining us. That'll be really nice. And his lovely mother. His mother's such a sweetheart. Yeah, Mark, pet bereavement is a serious thing. Really, when I came after my degree, when I finished my degree in London, the day after my final exam, I studied Croatian language, literature, and history in London University. The day after my final exam, I came back to Croatia and I didn't know, shall I stay here? Shall I go back to UK? I didn't know. And then I found a dog on the street, a beautiful, beautiful black and tan girl, and I named her Lucy. And she was living between two rows of. Oh, Kevin, Holland won, England nil. Bugger. Go back to my story. This lovely dog was holed out between two rows of shopping trolleys at the supermarket. And I saw her, and the local night guard came out with some scraps of food, and he said she's, been here a couple of days. So I went home and I thought, okay, you know, I couldn't get her off my mind. I came out the next day, and the next day she was still there. So I just sat and waited, just sat on the curb and waited for her. And I knew at some point she would come out to have a pee or whatever. And when she did, I just scooped her up and carried her home. And we spent 10 glorious years together. And because of her, I stayed in this country. So I'm eternally grateful to her. And she's buried in my back garden in the village. She has a bigger plot than my father. I got half his ashes just adjacent to where Lucy is. And every year, I have a daffodil collection. Some of you probably know this, but I have a daffodil collection, and I have a most wonderful display of daffodils over this large plot where Lucy is buried. I know, but my father is a special character as well. That size doesn't matter. So, Michael, good to see you here. Lovely to see you. And Mark's Adventures, yes. Tracy, I've mentioned you. Kevin, keep that bad news away. I have my football correspondent in the next room, but clearly she's not on the ball, as it were, because I heard no complaints. Well, okay, sod it. Okay. But Kerry, yes. Oh, you're interested in the Norrises. Well, uh, my good friend Kim, that you know, the herbalist in Lewis, I had some of you who followed some of my videos. I found an ancestor, his gravestone, in a cemetery in Tower Hamlets. And this is an ancestor who was connected with the Smeaton family, who were the engineers of lighthouses. And John Smeaton in the 18th century is considered the father of engineering. There are monuments to him all over London. And my family, the Norris family, apparently married into the Smeaton family in the 19th century. And I found a gravestone in Tower Hamlets, and I made 2 videos locating this gravestone. And then I sent all these details to my good friend Kim. Hi, Peter Coombs, nice to see you. If you want to mention your words in music on Saturday, is it Saturday? Tell me the time so I can remind people. I sent all these details to my friend Kim, and she came up with a completely different family line, family tree. So this is something I need to explore because my father told me one thing, and it seems that there is a different family line. So I need to explore that a bit further. I'll be very disappointed if we're not part of that family because I always thought we were, particularly with the engineers for the lighthouses and the Eddystone Lighthouse. The Smeaton family were the engineers of the Eddystone Lighthouse. And one of my favorite novels is Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse. So I feel that there must be a connection there. It can't be purely coincidence. But we will see, everybody. We will see. So, any new Mark's adventures. So, what are your latest adventures, Mark? Do please tell. Do please tell. So talking about, I mean, you can see a painting behind me. This is from, I think it's 30 years old, this painting, but I don't know if you can see that little at the top there, this little font there, this folly here. This is called Firle Tower. And those of you who are coming on the Firle to Charleston walk at the end of the month, we will pass this tower. It's a folly, and it's on the Firle estate. It's a private residence, or it's a kind of holiday home. But I painted it back in, I think 1994, maybe even earlier. But it's always had a special place in my heart. And so keep that in mind. There it is. One more view. Keep that in mind. I was there a few years ago and it didn't have that beautiful cornfield, but I obviously saw it at its not as its best, but at a good moment to capture that image. Robbie of the North, here we go. Oh, I bet that hurt Harry Kane. A penalty. Was it a penalty? Oh, Michael White. Does your family go back to the Tudors on the Smeaton side? Well, curiously enough, when I was starting to research my family, I found, okay, 19th century Smeatons and Norrises were connected. But when I put in the 2 names into YouTube, I came up with the conspiracy of the execution of Anne Boleyn. And of the 5 men who were implicated in her downfall, one was a Smeaton and one was a Norris. So um, I'd like to think that there's some roguery in my family. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Robbie Grocer, penalty, Kevin, penalty to England. I'm, I must send a message to yours truly. Fuck's sake. Okay. Yes. So I will say, are you paying attention to the game? Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yeah. Well, I know there are people like Kevin who said he's got me on his laptop, but he's watching the footy. Oh, 1-1, says Robbie of the North. Goal! Okay, so it's equaliser. Okay, maybe one day I'll get a news report from next door. But anyway, I've been watching what you have been doing and the videos you've been making. Mark English, the lunch club of Mark English. He was out in Surrey with Kevin, Cynthia, I think maybe Steve. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he went in search of a stone circle. This was a stone circle made in 1999. And I wondered whether a stone circle from our living memory. Oh, finally I get the result. 1-1. Yeah, okay. Bit late. Bit late. Damn it. And I wonder whether a stone circle from within living memory or one which is many hundreds, thousands of years old, hundreds of years old, has the same kind of resonance. I mean, it's lovely that stone circles are still being made. Rog, good to see you here, man. So I wonder, but Mark went up to found the stone circle. It's a beautifully located with the most fantastic views. Really, really nice. So I wonder whether because it was built in living memory, it still has the same resonance. Okay, and Lynn B. Lynn B's always out and about. It's really impressive. And recently she was in Lansing with Kai. Kai, lovely dog. And she was there for the opening of a new country park, 28 acres, which is great that landscape is protected and there won't be any housing development on that. So, oh, Monsieur Kevin, oh, he sent me a picture. He's got me and the footy. So he is my now official my oh yes it says now I'm paying attention. Too late. Kevin has taken the slot. What else have I been looking at? Bonnie. Well, she's a bit of a football fanatic, so I know she is not watching. Hi Anna Jones, lovely to see you here. Yeah, good to see you here. There's stone circles everywhere up here within a mile of my house, says Robbie of the North. Yeah, because you Northerners didn't have much else to do but erect stone circles. But anyway, so Bonnie is watching the footy, which is okay. Wandering Ponderer, I mentioned him. His last video, The Life of Dorothy Butterfield, I thought was a really charming video. Kevin, oh, he sent me some pictures from his allotment today. It's just to rub it in a bit, because I rubbed it in a couple of days ago how hot it was here when he was complaining about the weather. So he sent me some fantastic pictures from his allotment. Yes, Mark, New Monks Farm Lansing. That was the new new country park which Lynn was reporting about. So Kevin was teasing me with his fabulous garden and his lovely produce. I know we all need to get back to the land and have a connection with the earth. But Kevin, how you broke my heart. My garden is really suffering with this heat, and we installed a drop by drop watering system for when we're not there. I'm going back tomorrow to see what state it is in, but none of the parsnips I planted, none of the French beans came up. Some of the flowers, a few of the cucumbers, and they're brilliant. Lots of courgettes. But I wanted butternut squash, and I got my neighbor to buy me the little seedlings, already started. And I think she got me more courgettes. So we are overwhelmed by courgettes. Ron and Elaine, they are otherwise engaged this evening, which is a great shame because I always like to see them. And they're such a lovely couple. Really nice. Oh, Robbie of the North. That was a lovely picture of you and Freya that you put up. I hope she's doing well. Really nice. And Mr. Litch and Mike Dixon, he's been out and about. Half of you are pensioners, and I wonder how you ever had time to have a full-time job. Uh, Glastonbury, yeah, God, football is the way England have been playing. I watched a few of the games. It's most tedious football. They pass backwards and forwards. Nothing special about it. Yeah, Kevin, each to their own. God help us if we win. We will never hear the last of it, says Glastonbury. Well, okay. If we win, it's about bloody time we won something. You know? Who else? Oh, Ian McCagan. Hasn't really done very much. I checked on his Facebook page. Is Ian, are you here tonight? I don't know, but well, we'll see. Yeah, Mike's never at home, Rob. Mike is Mr. Man About Town. Mr. Litch and Mike Dixon is man about town. Dave Ford, he does beautiful videos in 4K, really good quality. I love the routes that he walks and that he includes a map. Really, really nice. And Fiverr, his lovely dog Fiverr, was competing in some obedience competitions, and he not first place, but I think he won second, third, and maybe fifth place. But hell, if you win something, it's brilliant. When I was at school, in primary school, we had what was called a Charlie's Aunt race. I never forgot it. And we didn't come first, myself and my partner, but we got a little green ribbon that you could pin to your t shirt. And I was so proud of that. It was nothing, but it was an acknowledgement. Kevin, Mark's videos of Hascombe Church was a bit unsettling. Yeah, I can imagine it was unsettling because you had a strange resonance in that space, and Mark, he doused it, and he established that at the point where you had this kind of emotional experience, there was an energy line running through the church, and he doused it outside as well. Really, I'm not surprised you had something like that. But Cynthia and Kevin, well, Kevin re-up posted a memory from 2018 of Paul Weller playing That's Entertainment at a concert. It was such a great song. I remember when it came out, and I saw the jam at Brixton Academy many years ago, was supported by Bananarama. If any of you remember Bananarama, what a name, great name. But I always loved that song, and the album that song came off of, excuse me, I can't remember the title, but it was a great album. Yeah, so let me catch up a bit. Okay, so as the visiting Yankee, I have to ask, when you say stone circles, are you talking about stone? Well, Jeff, ac- over the whole of Britain, there are many circles of stone. Stonehenge is obviously the most famous one, But one of my favourites is in Oxfordshire. It's called the Rollright Stones, and I painted it. I filmed it. It's a beautiful, very unassuming, because they're not stones big like Stonehenge, but they're individual stones laid out in a circle. And there are many places where such stone circles can be found. And on Dartmoor, I believe, um, there you can find megalithic structures. In Cornwall, you can find quoits. Now, quoits, I visited Cornwall 30, 40 years ago, and I sketched them then. These are the remnants of burial chambers, apparently. And what is left, because all the soil, everything is eroded away, you have a couple of horizontal structures and then a capstone. Uh, Jeff, if you look up Lanyon Quoit or Chun Quoit, Chun Quoit, Quoit, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. But they're beautiful structures. But stone circles, there are a number. Of course, Avebury is also the second most favourite one. But yeah, have a look, Jeff. Have a look. Okay, they've upped their game tonight, so England are playing a bit better, less boring. Let's good. Let's hope so. Okay. Hello from Guildford, Tall Paul Rog. Hi there, Rog. I hope you're going to be around for the walk at the end of the month. I hope so, my man. I'd love to see you. Castle Rig is the most famous, I presume, stone circle up here, and Long Meg and her daughters is the biggest. Long Meg is a very tall stone with other stones around, if I'm correct, Robbie. Kevin says, I've been to the Nine Ladies Stone Circle near Darlingdale in the Peak District. Yeah. Yeah, where one is blessed in UK to have lots of these prehistoric structures. Really nice. Okay, Robbie says, yes, covered in earth spirals. Okay, okay. All right. So, if I missed any comments, let me just scroll back. Mark, he says he's not watching, but the telly is up so loud and is very animated. So, if they score a goal, you will hear, of course. Okay, Anna Jones, I said hello. I hope. Nice to see you here. Peter Coombs, yes. Top Cat Radio, Saturdays at 12 o'clock, I believe, Peter. Um, okay, I think I've. How many are we watching today? I don't know. I don't have any um, notification of how many watching, but I hope whoever is watching, you're okay. Mark's Adventures. There are 4 stone circles near me, and a few have evidence of Roman camps too, as they're close to Whalley and Ribchester. Chester was a huge garrison for the Romans. Yeah, I was 16 watching. Okay, Kevin, good. That's a good number. Mark says 15 watching. Maybe Kevin just switched off. Gone back to the football. Who can blame him? Yes, Peter. Okay, I'm glad I remembered it correctly. Yeah. So where is Bernie today? Do we know where Bernie is? I don't know where he is, but I watched one of his videos earlier. Winchelsea, the little train station at Winchelsea. Really cute little station, but what struck me was how far it was from the town. Um, which it kind of goes against my usual thinking that train stations were built in the center of a settlement for obvious reasons. But when I go to the village, I go through a town called Carlovat, and that main train station, which is a beautiful station, is about 15 minutes walk, 20 minutes walk from the main center of the town, the Austro-Hungarian center of the town. Now, some years ago, they built another station in between Karlovac and the next one. And it's a very flimsy little station, but it's immediately opposite the bus station. So it's a way that it can, it'd be easy for one to get to the centre of town. But I always found that a bit of an anomaly that the main train station was so far from the town centre when it could have been built where the new one is originally. But there you go. I don't know. Let me catch up with you. Jeff is saying you guys do have history. Here, if it's 200 years old, it is really old. Yes, Jeff. It's almost within living memory. I was looking at a video today of an artist called Graham Boyd, who I think is just over 100. And you just think of the history that such a person has lived through and experienced and seen in the newspapers or later the television. Yeah.
Traitor.
Oh, what's happening?
Nothing, but you're traitor. You're not following.
What am I not following?
Well, there was two.
Oh, I'm getting reports about the football now.
Who is there?
I'm on live.
Oh,
Do you want to say hi?
No. Hello.
This is my football correspondent reporting live, but delayed.
Missing out on a very exciting game.
Oh, is it exciting? I
Yeah.
can't believe England can't be playing excitingly. Is it still 1-1?
Yeah.
Okay. So you brought the boy in?
Hmm?
Is Zorro here?
Yeah.
Zorro.
Zorro.
I-
Zorro.
Okay. My correspondent is going back to her position in front of the television. And the lovely Zorro is lying down by the side.
Touch it, Zorro. Touch.
No, Nick, shut the door, please.
Traitor.
I'm not a traitor.
Traitor.
So Kevin says that England are playing really well. Well, my correspondent here is not reporting back such opinions, but Kevin, this is your role, your position now. You are my new football correspondent for those who are vaguely interested in the events. Mark's Adventures. Oh, there were some Americans who built a place in Arizona. They're said to be 18,000 years old. Did they identify themselves as Americans? That I doubt, but I'm sure there are structures of that age. Yeah. Jacqueline! Hi, Andrew, Jackie, and Bernie calling from sunny Scotland. You got sunshine. Wow, because I'm hearing reports that in southern England it's grey, overcast, and wet. What is the temperature there? We got 35 here this week. Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. But when I go to the village tomorrow, I will take Zorro straight to the river and we will jump in and have a swim together. Robbie says, I said earlier they were playing well. Crumbs, my house is older than 200 years. Yeah, I can believe it, Robbie. So, so Jeff, what around you would be considered old or antiquated? I would be interested to know. Oh, Dave, you'd make a terrible football correspondent. Well, that's okay. You just need to say, yeah, England scored a goal. Yeah, Holland scored a goal. Yeah, they're passing the ball. That's enough. Those of you who are here now, Kevin excluded, I suppose are not particularly interested in the football. Only the result. If we win, champion. If not, move on. Move on. Yeah, Michael, I got some results back from Family Tree DNA, and I've seen 7 Vikings in my ancestry, 5 Swedish and 2 Danish. One of them was murdered in the St. Brice's Day massacre. Tell us a bit more about this event, this massacre. So, Michael, you are Scandinavian origin, probably like most of us, if not from not African origin. Kerry says, I thought it was an Olympic year, not a World Cup year. Well, it is an Olympic year in France, but France is falling apart as we speak. Riots on the street of Paris. Uh, Outrageous, really. Yeah. Glastonbury Gabriel says, more often than not, train stations are nowhere near where they serve. But yeah, is that really true, Gabe? Because I suppose in some ways when I take the train from Zagreb in to where the village is, there's a lot of these little tiny stations with a little place for you to sit, and they're meters away, several hundred meters away from the settlement that they serve. But I think, before it was always the kind of uh, the thing, that a station would be in a town center. Okay, geographically, it might not always be practical to swerve into a settlement and out again, but I don't know. Ah, Jacqueline, we have been so lucky with the weather today. It was a bit cooler and breezy, but all week we've had glorious sunshine. I'm delighted to hear that. And so you're up north in Scotland. Is that what I understood? How are you dealing with the midges there? You having to wear hats with a net around not to be bothered by them. I used to love watching the program on Viasat Explorer, I think it might have been, of people panning for gold. Now, Jeff, you probably watched these programs in Australia. I mean, the landscape is extraordinary. The color of the earth, this reddish color. But you've heard of the Australian wave, where you're always brushing flies away. It would drive me absolutely crazy unless I had a net just covering my face. I couldn't deal with it. But I love that program, and how excited people get with the tiniest piece of gold. It's a lovely program. So, okay. So Kerry says, Jacqueline, we finally got some sun here after rain and wind and nearly putting the heating on. My mother had to put the heating on and put on a jumper. I'm so sorry for her. Uh, Mark says, didn't farming used to have more say over where stations ended up? I know that happened with the Bluebell Rail. Is that so? I suppose if railways were ploughing through a farmer's land, that could cause a lot of issues in terms of getting cattle onto the pasture and back to where they were milked or whatever. Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, Robbie says dent on the is that Seattle or Seattle Carlisle line is 4 miles from the village it serves. Really, Robbie, that's extraordinary. Mark, you're off to bed. Okay, sleep tight, sleep well. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Off to bed. Been up since 5 and looking at screens all day, so now it's a bit blurry of sight. Have a good holiday, Bernie and Jackie, and thanks, Andrew. Mark, I quite understand who wants to be staring at a screen all day, but rest yourself and wake up refreshed tomorrow. Kerry says, good night, Mark. Yeah, okay. Oh, Jackie, you haven't been bothered at all by midges, luckily. That is very luckily. That is really good. I was there back in my youth, and I remember it was a bit frustrating. Jeff, yes, you love gold panning. We went with some friends to a stream somewhere out in Croatia in the wilds, and with a friend who used to like panning, and he had a special pan like you sent uh, our ex friend, and he found the most tiny piece of gold, but he was so elated because it confirmed for him that there was gold. It doesn't matter the value, just the confirmation that his hunch was correct, that he found a tiny piece of gold. And oh, Jeff, you never had a bad gold day, panning, even if I don't find gold. Yeah, because you're standing in the water, you're active, you're exploring the water and the stones, the gravel, the layers under the water. Yeah, I can believe it's exciting. A moment. When do you do your live streams? Andrew says. Andrew, brother Andrew. I'm standing in for the big man Bernie this weekend, no, this day, because he and Jacqueline are gallivanting around Scotland, but not bothered by midges, apparently. So I'm just standing in for him, Andrew. But it's a joy that you have come along, and give my best to you, to your lovely mother. Your your family is so wonderful, and your sister who graduated this year, I believe. Really lovely, really lovely. Gabe says, all you need to say is England lost again. Is it over? I haven't heard from my football correspondent next door, but Rod, nobody sees my messages this year. Sorry, man, I've just been rambling and rambling, but I saw that message and I acknowledged your arrival when you came. But are you going to be around for the walk at the end of the month? You have to be. You got to be there, Rog. I want to see you there. Let me know. Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Make it happen. Oh, brilliant, man! You're going to be there. Oh, I look forward to seeing. I had that lovely walk with you when we went from the Balkan Viaduct. That was so nice. How we walked together along this stream, and then behind us was the Balkan Viaduct, and then a train just crossed the path. That was such a memorable moment. Who else have I missed out? It was when Ethelred decided to rid the country of Danes because they were plotting to kill him. My ancestor was one of 37 young men thrown into a communal grave after being executed in Oxford. Uh, this is much later than the time of Ethelred, I presume, Michael. Um, please let me know. I should know my history. Hmm. Well, a tragic end, but you have a story to tell. Brilliant. And you can honor your ancestors. Absolutely. Robbie. Okay, tell Bernie I've posted something on Kevin's rambles for him. So, Jacqueline, let Bernie know that Robbie of the North has posted something for him. Tracy, oh, thank you so much, Andrew. Is that me or is it your Andrew? Perhaps it's me because you know, when you posted the pictures of your family together, I thought this is what really, a family unit like that is so precious, really so lovely, lovely, Tracy, really. Uh, Jeff says if you don't find gold, you usually always go home with a couple of trout for dinner. Oh, but do you catch them in your gold pan or do you take a fishing rod? The first trout, actually, the one and only time I ever caught a fish was in the River Lemon in Devon. I was about 12 years old and I caught my first trout, and I was so excited I dropped my fishing rod in the river, but I managed to retrieve it, get the fish, and let it go before anyone could take a picture. But the memory is still there. But anyway, I hope that fish um, lived for longer, that the hook didn't cause any irreparable damage to its jaw. So Karen says, yes, it's busy. She's talking to me about football. Probably, yeah. 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 Oh, you remember the walk, Rog? Yeah. It was a magical walk, despite the mud. But the community and everyone. And then the lunch and that long table where we all sat down together. And there was Mr. Litch and Mike Dixon with Bella opposite and my good friend Kim next to him. And it was a joyous occasion. And hopefully we will repeat that at the end of the month when I lead the walk from Firle to Charleston and back to Firle. Sadly, the pretentious Ram, could not accommodate all of us. Their loss, but luckily Kevin and his fabulous backup team, Cynthia and Steve, who should not go unmentioned, they have found a restaurant about 50-minute drive, who are very happy to accommodate us, and even Kai can sit with us, which is very good for after the walk. And I think Kevin and Cynthia and Steve probably posted the route on Kevin's Rambles walk. So we're going to go walk under the Downs to Charleston, where we can enjoy the cafe there, and perhaps walk around the garden a little bit. And then we go back to Firle, get back in the cars, and then we go to the lunch. And I think Kevin asked people or Cynthia asked people to say what they want for their lunch, whether lamb roast, beef roast, or whatever. So if you haven't, please do let Kevin know what you'd prefer for your lunch. So Robbie Croce says, Mr. Litchen, yeah, Mr. Litchen, Mike Dixon, because he had a little magnifying glass on a video from the previous site, and he was examining the different lichen or lichen scones on the gravestones. And so I call him Mr. Lichen Mike Dixon, because he is an authority on lichen or lichen. Kevin says, do you remember the route, Andrew? We remember how you led the route last July. Well, I've posted the route. It's that way, and then it's that way. So it can't be too difficult. So it's half time. The football. My correspondent over there is not reporting anything, but Mr. Kevin from Kevin's Rambles is doing an admirable job. Thank you, Kevin. 1-1 half time. Glastonbury Gabriel, no, that's all Mr. O needs to learn about the football correspondent. Mr. O being, don't know. And Robbie says, very lucky penalty that. Okay, well, the English team have played such a boring game. You know, if they lose, it wouldn't be through their merit, I guess. If you've got a lucky penalty, then okay, perhaps one of the team just fell down, clutching their head, protesting. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so have I missed any massages? Okay. So Michael, you didn't update me on on the execution in Oxford. What year was that? I'd like to kind of give it some kind of context. Jacqueline says, thanks for standing in, Andrew. You're a star. Got a pack. Pleasure, Jacqueline. Bernie sometimes needs a night off, and I subject the rest of you to my banter and stories and stuff. Michael White, yeah, is I suppose referring to Tracy. Nice to see all the family photos. Yeah, Tracy and your family is lovely to see you all together, and your daughter who graduated. Good luck to her. Bravo. And Robbie, he posts pictures of his children, and there was a rare picture he put up, I think, or did it when I was scrolling through getting intel on what you've all been up to. Robbie had a picture of his 3 children, lovely children, and Freya said, I don't like this picture. And Robbie said, but I don't have many of you all together. But actually, Freya looked fantastic. Lovely, mature person. Yeah. Lovely children, Robbie. It's a credit to you that you brought up 3 lovely children. So that's about it for in terms of my spying on what you have all been doing. But only to kind of mention that, of course, at the end of the month is the Firl Charleston Walk. And Kevin says, Yas is going on strike again. She's probably hitting the brandy bottle and forgotten about her duties. Robbie says, my son's very camera shy. He's 17, so he's allowed. Yeah, we'll just take a picture when they're not posing. Just snap a picture. You can take 50 pictures in a second on mobile phones and delete 99 of them and keep one good one. Yeah. I mean, we had this lovely occasion last weekend with my neighbors. My neighbor, he bought my old car. I gave him a very good price. I filled up the gas tank because I wanted, I really appreciate their friendship, their neighborliness, and they're always so generous. They're not the richest of people, but I often find that the poorer a person is, the more generous they are. And so I gave them a really good price for my old car. And to celebrate, we bought all this lovely food. We had a fantastic barbecue. Tihumir cooked all the food. It's a man's job at a barbecue to do this kind of work. And we had this lovely gathering. Torna from up the hill with Marita, his wife. They came down, so we were all together, and it was a joyous occasion. Simple pleasures. Why do we complicate our lives? Simple pleasures, good food, good friends, good family, good neighbors. As Tona said, as I wrote in the comment, the most important thing is to be good with your neighbors because you never know when you might need them. And I often need them if a piece of machinery is not working, um, or I need Tona's wife, Biba, when we're not there, to go into the house to switch on the water system for the vegetable garden. It, such people are worth their weight in gold. So it was a pleasure to do good things for your neighbors because you, they're lovely people. Yeah, money is when people are so good, money becomes so unimportant. Unimportant. Let me catch up with a few things. All right. Jacqueline, I see your message. TPR is that well done for keeping Bernie out of trouble? TPR. I guess whoever wrote that means something. Tracy said, thank you. She's out in Germany with her boyfriend watching the game live. Ah, Tracy, your daughter. Okay, she studied archaeology, I believe. Great subject, history. We must always learn history. So Bryce's Day Massacre was on the 30th of November, 1002, says Michael White. You can trace your family back to 1002. Man, I'm really envious of that. To have such long, distant roots and a lineage for 1,000 years and more. My word, Michael, please write out your family tree. I will come and visit you. I want to study it. Please, I'd be really, really thrilled to see that. Yeah. Michael White said, lovely photo of you and your daughter, Rob. Yeah, it was a charming picture. Gabriel says, Mr. P, not Mr. O. Okay, so, that's, okay, all right. Start again. All Mr. P needs to be a football correspondent is to learn the phrase, and England have lost again. Okay, the alternative is it's coming home. It's coming home. 3 words rather than England have lost again. 4 words. So let's meditate on the mantra. It's coming home. It's coming home. We will see. We will see. Robbie of the North says, that is a long time, Mr. W. I could only manage 800 years. Jesus, Rob, you can go back 800 years. That is impressive. Robbie, when you come down at the end of the month, bring your family tree. I'd love to see it. You know, I have family trees with two neighbors around me in the village, and they go back 200 plus years. Uh, the area where our part of the village is was a buffer zone between the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and within this strip of land called um, the name escapes me now, but families were invited to occupy this no man's land, given land to cultivate in exchange for military service. Kraina, it's called in the Kraina. And I suspect that the Tolnas family, Domšić family, and my neighbor Mika, the Fudorich family, who we are surrounded with, that they were invited, and Mika hasn't told me this story. They were invited 200 or 300 years ago to come to this piece of land to live, to cultivate, and then, if necessary, called on for military service. But uh, I think this is probably true, but this is how our area of land was occupied. Let me go back to the messages. Carrie, you can only manage 500 years, but I've been researching it for 20 years. Wow, you must know the different websites extremely well to go into researching. I might need to employ your services, I think. Wandering Ponderer says, I would be doing magic tricks with the penalty cards. Yeah, you can dish them out quite easily. Just rip them out your back pocket. Abracadabra, a red card to the Dutch player, whoever. Robbie says, my brother did it when he was off work with bronchitis a few years ago. Originally French given land after the Norman conquest. Well, okay, yeah, brilliant. It's so, I mean, my history is so sketchy. I need to spend more time on it, but what I have found is really, really great. Glastonbury says, could you do a magic trick where England win, or is that beyond the realms of magic? Yeah, you need to do a lot of chiribu chiriba, abracadabra, that kind of stuff. Ah, well, I will go and see the second half when this is finished, which will be very soon because it's 10 o'clock already, and some of us have homes to go to. Jeff says, hope to see everyone on Tuesday. Our ponder will be doing some magic for us, and we will be discussing uh, something stinky scented candles. Okay, so from that, I guess that next Tuesday, Gabe and Jeff will be doing a live on Glastonbury Gabriel's channel, 8 o'clock, I think UK time. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's always lively, it's always fun, and sometimes Ryan comes in, nice guy Ryan, and joins in the scene. Um, Robbie says, I didn't know you were a footy fan, Andrew. Well, I'm not particularly, but if Croatia are playing, then you get into the spirit of it. If England are playing, well, I can watch it, take it or leave it. I don't know any of the names except Kane. Um, I don't know any of the players, so I feel no emotional connection to the team except for the flag that they wear on their back, if they are allowed in this day and age. Kevin says, one of my family lines on my grandmother's side goes back to Henry VIII, although not 100% of that. Well, maybe some of my family go back to Henry VIII and cutting the head off Anne Boleyn, but not 100% on that. But okay, Alison, thank you so much. Great that you've endured it for the past hour. Great show, she said. I've still been here. That's lovely. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to spend this past hour with you. I know I've done most of the talking, but there's a bit of nervousness and not wanting to have gaps, pauses in the But you've clearly been chatting amongst yourselves. And as Bernie said, that is the point of the Village Hall Social Club. Don't take all the hobnobs, Robbie. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a joy to spend this hour with you. And I hope to see as many of you as possible at the end of the month. And to finish off, I will quote Kevin's Rambles. Great competition tonight. Andrew, between yourself and England. Well, I'm going to bugger off and watch the second half. Thank you so much. It's been a real joy. And take good care of yourselves. Lots of love to you all. Bye.